Hello. Okay. Um, so we are now moving into week 3, and we are just doing a chapter on grammar, refreshing our skills, tuning our ear, and continuing to work on your next assignment, writing assignment number 2, which you really, want to stick to a paragraph, right? Take a piece of paper, fold it, and keep it on the first half of the page. I wrote down a couple questions from the discussion forum that you guys wanted to know. Abstract, right? Okay, so we do not do an abstract in Writing 101. And the reason for that is abstracts are typically used for writing assignments that are over 5 pages. So in 101, 102, or if you take it 102 in the fall, it's turning into 201. You are not required to do an abstract. So it is just the title page and your writing assignment, and then a references page, and then your audience analysis as your appendix. So those are the things, that's the format for Writing 101 for all assignments, all in APA. And so that's why we don't have an abstract. Let's see what else we want. Headers on every page. So if you watched Maddie Lowen's video, you could see she was talking about why we have APA. It's a format that's specifically designed for humanities, specifically research oriented, and you will be using this format throughout your time at George Fox. And it just keeps things very uniformed and for all courses. And that header is something that people can use to kind of search for different topics when they're researching. And it should be a shortened, condensed version. So if your writing assignment is labeled, exercise, the beginning and the end, your running head will probably just be exercise. And it's in all caps, which is just, it's something that you have to do every week. Not just every week, sorry, it's just something that you will have to practice, because it's, for whatever reason, it's like one of the hardest pieces of APA for students is making sure they get that running head done correctly, because it's running, capital R, head, lowercase h, and then what your running head is, like exercise, is all in caps. So for whatever reason, it's kind of tricky, and that's just following the APA rule. All right, let's see what else is in the forum. Referencing. So I have added in week 3 a cheat sheet for referencing, which is used in at the Portland Center in the Writing Center department. They have this nice little 1-page cheat sheet. And so the front is kind of like standard APA, kind of gives you the formatting if you want something visual. And then the other side, the other page is a nice little cheat sheet for in-text citation, like how it would look in your essay and how you would reference it in your referencing page. So references are only listed if you use it in your writing assignment. So it's not designed to add all the things, all the research that you've done. It's not designed to just say, these are all the books that I read. It's designed to include any and all information that's not yours, that you did not create. You didn't think of it yourself. You didn't create it yourself. You are taking it from someone else's work. And that is evident in your paper. So if you're writing about exercise and your thesis statement is, working out 3 times a week will lower your heart rate, and that will give you, a longer lifespan, right? So maybe your evidence is going to be this article that you found in, we'll say, like Health Magazine, or maybe some type of exercise science department, right? That is going to be in your references page. And then when you share your support in your essay, you're going to have an in-text citation, meaning you're going to reference the author whose support you're using and say, look, this is what I think, and then here's some evidence given by, say, Dr. Jones, and they agree with me, he agrees with me, and that just really solidifies your idea, because not only do you believe in that, but you also found other academic sources that believe, what you believe. And that just strengthens your argument and your point of view. Really, it doesn't even have to be an argument, just your point of view. It strengthens it. And that's the whole point of using outside sources to validate your claim. So that's kind of, I hope that answers the referencing questions. So each week I will look through the discussion forums. Sometimes I'll comment. Sometimes I'll just kind of write down all the questions and do it in this weekly video notes. Just depends. But making sure when you're working on your writing assignments, keep that rough draft, final draft going. So like this week, you're working on your writing assignment 2, getting it in. I will upload writing assignment 3 tonight so that you can start to get the wheels turning, because you want to be able to work on that as well. And keeping it to 1 point. I talked about that in my video last week, this idea of 1, 1, 1, one hook. How are you going to pull your audience in, right? Who is your audience? Knowing that, okay, who needs to hear my information? Who are they? And how can I kind of grab their attention? How you grab a high schooler's attention and how you grab, a 60-year-old's attention is very different. Is this a novice person? Is this an experienced person, right? You can wordplay based on your audience. So are they needing definitions? Are they already know these type of jargon and you can get a little bit more on the expertise side? That all plays into your paragraph because you know your audience. So making sure you have that hook, topic sentence, which is your thesis statement, right? Do you have your main idea and a controlling idea? That's kind of your point of view, your why. It's not just exercise is important, right? That's just an idea. Why is it important? If you can answer that, that creates a thesis statement, and that's what you're looking for. You want to be able to say, exercising 3 times a week helps lower your heart rate, which increases your lifespan, right? If you ask somebody, exercising, 3 times a week is important, 5 people can say yes. But the reason behind why it's important is going to be different. And that is what a thesis statement is, those answers. So you have this main idea of exercising and this understanding of why put together is what creates a thesis statement. And that's what you want to start working on in these assignments. And then figuring out, okay, so this is what I believe, this is my perspective, and here's my audience. How can I teach them to see what I see? And so that's where your evidence comes into play, thinking about what's the best way to show them my reasoning, right? So you have your thesis, you have your audience. How can I show them with evidence? Is it an example, like a hypothetical example? Is it like a colleague story? Is it academic referencing? It's all based on your audience. What a 16-year-old needs to know and how to explain it and teach them your perspective is going to look different than a 60-year-old, right? So knowing who your audience is, what they are capable of understanding, is it medical terminology that, works for nurses, or is it somebody who is trying to decide whether or not to vaccinate their child, right? Using medical jargon versus just more simplistic examples, that all plays into account based on who you are speaking to and how they can best relate to this information. You're the teacher, right? Because we don't know your perspective. You have to teach us your perspective, and that's the whole point in getting clear, concise writing, is kind of working all these elements and kind of toying with them on a daily basis to figure out the best way to be the most effective writer for who you are speaking to. So that is my tidbit of information. I'm looking forward to going through your writing assignments tonight. I will be giving feedback in the next day or two, and make sure you view all Word documents on a computer. You can't see my track changes on a smart device, like your phone or tablet. It has to be a computer. So when you open the document, you need to go to track changes and make sure it's on, because then you'll see all the bubbles and like little comments that I make. And I'm just going to be kind of following that format of, do you have a hook? Do you have a topic sentence, thesis statement, evidence, and are you closing out, and are you connecting your information with your audience? So that's kind of what I'm going to be working with, which seems kind of silly because you're like, it's just a paragraph, but it's one of the hardest things to do. It's what makes 101 so challenging, is because it's really hard to write a clear, concise paragraph and still integrate your audience. So please reach out via email or give me a phone call. I am available all week. And I'm actually going to, in my emails, send out a couple of evening times where maybe we can chat via phone and just kind of go over your writing assignment, making sure you understand my comments, talk about writing assignment 2, and make sure you are adequately set up for turning that in and feeling like it's a good, effective piece. And I just, with an online format, we don't get a lot of interaction. So it's nice to be able to connect, even if it's just 5 minutes, to kind of say like, okay, I have questions about this. Is this what you're talking about? This is what I've come up with. I'm not sure where to go. And it kind of breaks the ice for us because we have still, 5 more weeks to work together. And I want you to feel comfortable getting back into the groove of school and with writing, right? Just getting into a rhythm to feel like, okay, I'm working towards becoming a more clear and concise writer. Okay, so I will see you on the discussion forum, and I will send out some slot times for us to check in on writing assignments. Okay, have a good Monday.